Center Jalen Sundell has officially made the 53-man roster of the Seattle Seahawks. And today we're going to talk about what this guy provides to the Seattle Seahawks. If you guys don't know, Dan Larson, the coach of North Dakota State University, specifically the offensive line coach, has helped coach some of the smarter and better offensive linemen in the NFL. You got guys like Cody Mock, who's having a phenomenal career so far. You got guys like Dylan Redunz. Jalen Sundell, same coach, same scheme, has some upside. Now, I'm not sure exactly if this guy's ever going to start for the Seahawks. I'm not sure exactly where they're at with their center position. Oluwatimi is expected to start, but he's also had some struggles. And then you also went out and got Connor Williams, and now you got a third center on the roster. So it's going to be interesting, but you got plays like this where this guy is smart, right? He's able to help the guard here that ends up losing. Left guard's going to lean. He's going to get pulled forward. And Sundell does a great job as he's sliding to be able to recognize that and get in front of it. That's a good job right there to keep the quarterback clean. But there's a lot of plays like this on tape where he's smart. Let's get into it. So one of the things you're going to notice with Sundell's tape is he's very smart and he's quick and he's able to move. To me, Sundell is very, very different than Oluwatimi, right? Oluwatimi, I would say, is smart. He moves pretty well. But his game is going to be more of on the physicality side. Sundell's kind of the opposite of that, right? Sundell's more of the movement. Sundell's more of being able to process quickly. So it is interesting that the Seattle Seahawks kept Sundell around for maybe developmental purposes. I would even argue Sundell's a lot similar to Connor Williams than he is to Oluwatimi, and to me that's just interesting in its own right. But on this play here, you're going to get essentially what is a double team block on the two-eye technique defensive tackle, and that two-eye technique defensive tackle is going to slant hard towards the left. So with this is a great job processing by Sundell, right? Sundell recognizes that him and the guard basically have the block from that defensive lineman up to the linebacker. But since number 51 here slants so hard towards the inside, Sundell recognizes that he just sticks with this guy and essentially push him out towards the left. So it's a good job processing. And this is one of the things that he does a really, really good job at. And there's a ton of examples. On this one, he does a really good job. The running back picks up about 5 yards. You got this next play here as well. On this next one, the running back only picks up about 3 yards. But once again, it's a good job processing by Sundell, right? He's able to push out the defensive lineman. And this time, because the defensive lineman isn't slanting or jumping towards the inside, the guard is able to step towards the inside. This is a really, really good job by Sundell. The way he's able to move this guard. You see him get low. You see him hit him kind of in that hip area, and he's able to drive this guy outwards. 64, the right guard here is going to set himself up to the inside. That's a really good double team block. And then Sundell even ends up getting up to the linebacker, and you see him make contact with this linebacker, and then he essentially holds the block. The run only picks up about 2 to 3 yards, so it's not a huge run, but it's a great block by the center as well as the right guard. Christian Haynes on that one. Let's go ahead and get into the next snap. Alrighty guys, so Sundell is a lot faster. He's on the quicker side, and he does things like this. This right here is one of the best reach blocks you're going to see on tape. It literally does not get better than this. To me, the fact that Sundell is able to do this is absolutely incredible. Beautiful, beautiful reach block. Now you guys can see it's a pin pulled towards the right. Essentially, Sundell's going to have to reach on the linebacker. That too, he has to get to the front side linebacker. This is a very, very difficult block because the linebacker is so far out here towards the right. So the angle this guy has to take to get in front of this guy is incredible, but he's able to do it. He's able to seal this guy off, and this play picks up almost 10 yards. This block is beautiful, man. This is the type of angle that, allows guys to have success in the NFL, right? So run blocking, beautiful job, especially in the zone, climbing up to that second level. And this is what Sundell excelled at in college, right? North Dakota State ran a lot of zone, and a lot of their offensive linemen can do things like this, right? I think it's one of the things that Dan Larson, the offensive line coach, really, really targets. It's guys that can move. And the Seattle Seahawks have run a lot of zone, right? And I think this year especially, they're going to run a lot of zone. So we'll see what ends up happening. Really, really nice play right there. Let's get into the next snap. Alright, you guys, check this next play out. Once again, Sundell's going to do a really, really good job being able to process that his offensive lineman needs help, and he's going to be able to help him out. Now, this one's interesting because initially it looks like he's going to help the right guard, but he does end up coming back down, recognizing that the right tackle has lost inside leverage, so he essentially comes back and helps him. This is a good heads-up play once again by Sundell. The slide's towards the right, and you also see that the Browns don't bring any blitz, so it's essentially 5-on-4. And you see that the right guard initially looks to lose, but I think the guard does a pretty good job being able to stay in front of this guy. And then you can see the center is going to end up coming back towards the inside, recognizing the right tackle's in a bad spot. And he makes sure to keep the quarterback clean. 2nd and 13, the quarterback gets the ball out and picks up 8 yards. So really, really good job. You got another one here. He's going to pick up the defensive line game. Smart player. You see it, right? Plays like this. He's able to recognize the pattern. He's able to process it. He's able to pick it up. To me, when I look at this guy's tape, he's very, very solid when it comes to all the processing and recognizing, being able to pass off defensive line games, be able to see who's lost and who needs help. Just across the board in pass pro, he is very, very smart. And even in the run game, he's very smart. He sees all the things that you want to see as a starting center. But I will say this, the one thing that he's going to have to continue to develop and work on over the course of his career is going to be the strength aspect of his game. All right, it's to get stronger, it's to get more powerful, it's to get more physical. This only happened one time in this game, but I do suspect that as he continues in his NFL career, these are the type of things that will happen to him in pass pro. And in fact, I'm going to go back and look at some of the other games as well. But you can see on this play, he's going to end up getting pushed back. So to compensate for being pushed back as he is here, he's going to try to lean into this defense tackle. So this defense tackle is going to feel that, and he's going to pull 61 forward, and he's going to bring the left arm over the top. And then 61 ends up falling forward because he's trying to lean into it, and he's trying to hold this guy off, right? It's not a huge deal, but this is one of the things we'll have to work on. So again, Sundell's very smart. He's a fast processor. He sees things the way you ultimately want to see it. But he will have to just continue to get stronger. And I do think that's something he will be able to develop over the course of his career. And at the end of the day, most players, especially UDFAs, they're going to have certain things they're good at, certain things they struggle with. And it's not all bad across the board for Jalen Sundell, but I do think he needs to just continue to develop a little bit. But I do love the fact this guy's able to move and how he moves and how he's able to stay in front of people. Because like on this one here, for example, this defense tackle doesn't really have a pass rush plan. And there's guys like this that start in the NFL, right? They're guys that don't really have a plan. All they're going to try to do is just throw you to the side. They're going to try to use their power. And on this one here, Sundell just essentially stays right in front of it. All right, so 76 doesn't have a pass rush plan. So Sundell will be okay, especially against guys that are, playing that nose tackle, they're playing that one technique. But he'll have to really develop to be able to hold his own against starting caliber guys, that too, if he wants to start. But again, not a big deal. I really like what Jalen Sundell provides to the Seattle Seahawks. I think the guy has tremendous upside. He moves really well, especially in the run game. And I think that's something you can continue to develop over the course of your career. And the guy had a lot of really, really good reps over the course of preseason. And I'm not surprised he actually made the roster. When you watch the Seattle Seahawks offensive line, you watch some of the backup guys, you pretty much saw Sundell flashing over the course of preseason. He had a lot of really, really good blocks. But at the same time, you also got to understand he is a UDFA. So he might not have a whole lot of success right away. And then most UDFAs also don't actually make the 53-man roster. I think this year is like, maybe 30 guys that ended up making as UDFAs. But Jalen Sundell did beat the odds. The guy does look good, and I'm excited to continue to cover him as well as the Seattle Seahawks. There's a lot of good things coming with this offensive line. It's just a matter of time until it's fully healthy and it gets right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next time with another video.